Hello everybody, this is Melissa with Enchanted Emerald bringing you our reading here for this Tuesday, December 6th, 2022. And today, of course, I'm using the traditional Rider-Waite deck. And so out of this deck today, we have three cards actually. Two of Swords coming out with the Tower. And I know this looks scary, I know it looks ugly, but bear with me, this isn't going to be as bad as it looks, I promise. And then the outcome, of course, is the Four of Cups. Okay, so kind of looking back on things, maybe having a little bit of regrets, resentments, but really got to look at the big picture throughout all of this. Okay, now I want to just highlight here because I noticed at the bottom of the deck, of course, we had the Eight of Swords feeling stuck a little bit. This is a big theme of this whole reading, and that's why I mentioned that. Followed by the Knight of Wands, and then it brings us back to yesterday's card, the Lovers. Okay, so if you haven't yet checked out yesterday's reading and you're interested in doing so after you listen to this one, it might give you a little bit more clarity about your situation with that Lovers card. So if this resonates for you, please do check that out. But this is really a feeling here of more about having some choices coming to the forefront, right? With that Two of Swords. And with that feeling stuck, I really feel as though this is something where you could be really leaning toward wanting to make those rash decisions, impulsive decisions in your life. And I feel that this is really stemming from a place of wanting to really fully embrace your power, take control of the situation, right? I feel like there's this confusion that is coming in as a result of this flood of emotions. And so when I talk about you stepping into your power and really kind of like using that as a force for good throughout all of this is stepping back and saying, okay, look, I know what's working in this situation, but I also know what's not working in this situation. So what can you do about what's not working, right? So that's where you take your power back, is starting to kind of take control of that situation. So you want to take a strength-based approach to that in terms of, how can I look at this and how can I make this situation better, or how can we improve this, or how can I move forward from this with some lessons? And so, I feel like this is really a situation where you've probably, had really given all you've got to this, right? What I hear with this is, it's that U2 song, the lyric, I can't live with or without you. And so, I feel like you're exasperated, possibly super exhausted, from just constantly trying a whole bunch of different things to really just make this work, right? And so it's easy to make decisions, or to want to make decisions based off of your emotions. But what really needs to happen here is first we need to get your facts straight. What really needs to happen is to kind of like take a step back from all of your emotions, take a step back from the situation, and say, okay, look, first let's get the facts straight about this situation and let's work from that. Okay? So, you're giving it your all and you're wanting more. How can we progress in this situation? So, I really feel that this is coming down to kind of asking yourself this question with this, like, what is it that I'm going to tolerate? How much can I take, right? And so after you're looking at all of this, you're going to ask yourself, where do I stand and where do I want to stand in the end of all of this, right? So, I feel like right now it's kind of asking you maybe to like pick a side, right? And I feel that that's the choice, right? I feel like right now you might be stuck in the middle of something, which is kind of leaving you open and vulnerable and totally defenseless. Like when I say stuck in the middle, it might not necessarily be between two situations, two people, two options, right? It could just be, you feel like you're darned if you do and darned if you don't, right? And so, I feel like this is the point where to make yourself not so defenseless and vulnerable, it's like putting your shield of armor up, right? Yes, you have your emotions involved. Yes, you're heavily into this and really want to make this work. But when you put your shield of armor up, what I'm saying by that is getting back to that place where you're like, what is it that I'm going to tolerate, right? So I think it really just comes down to knowing what you want, knowing what you don't want, and knowing what's best for you, and knowing what you will and won't tolerate, right? And then sticking to that, right? Creating those boundaries and honoring them and sticking to that, because that's how you get that respect that you need. And so when you choose your side after all of that, this is in essence you choosing what you stand for, choosing what you're fighting for. And this is really what you're going to be choosing as it resonates with you. So you're going to be knowing what resonates with you. So this is like resonating with your truth. And you're going to feel this at the core of your being, whether this is a tickle in your stomach, whether this is a nagging feeling of there's got to be something more, right? You may not know it right away. Some people don't necessarily know, or they don't connect with their intuition in the way others do, right? So you might kind of feel the situation out, and you might realize, like, geez, okay, so we tweaked things, and now it's still not working for me. I still feel like I'm getting that feeling like there's got to be something more, right? Whether there's more to be said, more to be done, or maybe it's just about moving into a different situation. Really just pay attention to what resonates for you and what would be, for you at your core, your truth, okay, in your essence, okay? So I really feel that this is really to a place now where I don't want to say you're going to stop pretending, right? Because we're not pretending. You're not pretending. You are putting forth this effort, and you're trying to find your way through this, right? It's almost like you're blindfolded and you're just trying to find the path through the forest. And so sometimes you've been led astray. And that's sometimes what we do. We get off the beaten course and we're like still learning our lessons, but we're like, dang, I want to get back to the beaten path, because I've been off-roading for a little while and it's getting rough out here. So I'm getting big chills with that. So, I really want to get back to, what is right for me, what I know is right for me, and what resonates for me, what feels good, and what's going to nurture my soul and help me to live in my purpose. And so, and help me to feel good, right? Because that's really what it's all about. If you're not feeling good about a situation, there's a really good chance you're in a situation that's not what's best for you, right? So, I don't want to say that you're going to stop pretending, but you're going to, stop pretending, so to speak, and it will start to feel effortless once you're on the right path, right? Or whether it's that beaten path, that permanent beat down path that you start to move faster. So, I feel as though this is where it becomes a little bit more effortless for you. Your moves, like things will start to just happen for you, right? It all becomes very flow-like, right? You're in your flow. And so this is where, as you build things from that viewpoint, it's going to be more in alignment and it will stand the test of time, right? Things will start to come in for you that are meant for you, and they're meant to be there for your highest good. And so right now I feel as though you might be feeling like you're up against this mountain of resistance, okay? And I want you to stop and just take some good deep breaths and just say, listen, I understand that sometimes I create my own resistance, right? We have to take some responsibility for where we're at emotionally, okay? Because sometimes we get in our head about things, we overthink things, and this is where I think that some of that is coming in to this reading, okay? So I feel like that's part of it, kind of overthinking things, because what I'm hearing about this is that this mountain is actually a molehill, right? So it's not as big of an obstacle as you think that it is. Sometimes it can be our own resistance because we're placing our own expectations on the situation, or anything, right? Sometimes we're very anxious that things are not going to work out the way that we want them to. And in essence, we really have to just kind of take a step back and allow things to transpire. And so know that all these obstacles will easily be overcome, though. And this is just a buildup of this anticipation that you have been building from this whole situation, right? And so maybe you've been kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop, so to speak. Maybe you've been wanting to make this decision and you're waiting, for something else to happen before you can make this decision. And so the anticipation is built up, and it's just creating more and more resistance. And it's making it harder and harder for you to kind of manage. And so, I feel like the message here is to really just not worry so much about the how, and to just get on with choosing your side and, living with what you feel is your truth. And as you do that, even if you just only have like a rough idea or some idea of a plan of how you want it to work, it will set the plan in motion, is what I'm hearing. Okay, so it might look scary, like the tower. It might look really scary. It might feel really scary. But as you are, even if it's like that blindfold and you're walking the path, some of these actions have to be done in faith. And you will not always know the outcome of something. And, I feel as though you might experience some quarreling with your inner self, right? Inner conflict. You might experience some back and forth quarreling with yourself and others. But at the end of the day, anything that is not put into motion becomes stagnant. And I think that that's where you're feeling that stuck, right? Because that resistance is built up, and then something has to happen, or eventually something has to happen, but nothing is being done about it. And so it's like kind of sitting back, waiting, right? And nothing is transpiring. So eventually something will happen. Whether this tower moment comes at your hand or it is something that happens, at Spirit's hand, it will happen. But you know that you're going to be just fine, right? You will be okay, because you'll come out on the other side of this a person who has been through more, and there's been growth in that, and so you're going to be a changed person. And each and every situation that you encounter after that, you're going to be able to easily manage that, because Spirit's prepared you for that. And so know that you have all of the tools. You've been through all that you need to have been through to be able to handle this. Okay, so I do feel like a reminder here is get grounded through this all. And so whether that's getting out, taking a walk, whether that is taking a hot bath, whether that's going to the gym and getting some exercise in, whatever that looks like for you. And I feel like there's a benefit here as well in speaking to close friends, right? Mirroring yourself in love from a friend, someone who knows you really well. I think that could be very beneficial to you as well at this time. But I think that there could also be guidance provided to you because this person knows you really well. So I feel that that's a message for someone out there. So I hope that this resonates. I hope this reading resonates for you, and I hope that it helps you in some way, shape, or form. And I thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me today. As always, if you're interested in your own personal reading, I'd love to be able to do that for you. You can hit me up at the Square site pinned in the description box below here on YouTube, or you can message me on the Facebook, or you can email me at enchantedemeraldny@gmail.com. As always, I will be back with another read for you guys again soon. Tomorrow is the full moon in Gemini, coincidentally with that Lovers card coming up yesterday. And I can't wait to tell you all about it. So tune in tomorrow. Take care.